be sure to reach out to our guy, Smitty, to get your corner rugs. You can see his corner rugs at the top level tournaments, including Ironman this year. Hit him up at Smitty43952 at Gmail. Go check out our partner, Spider Mat Tape, at spidermattape.com. It's the freshest mat tape in wrestling, manufactured this year and hasn't been sitting around in a warehouse. Once again, it's spidermattape.com. Limited rolls available. Once it's gone, it's gone. All right, here we are. Wrestling Philosophy with Corey Beckner and Frank Lipoli. I'm Jared Upfer. Welcome. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
It's a pleasure to see you and to hear you, man. It's been a long time coming, and thank you for putting it together.
Heck yeah, we've been at least we've been talking almost every week the last few weeks, just talking about your tournament coming up, and I'm glad we're finally able to jump on and record. So for those that don't know, you guys are two of the main people behind the Virginia Challenge Holiday Duals, right? Among other people, but here we are a week out. What's going on this week with the plan of the tournament?
Well, actually, it's about making plans to set up.
Yeah, we'll start loading trucks on Sunday.
This is Corey knows more about that than I do.
We'll start loading trucks on Sunday and staging them over at the venue. 3 of them will be full of mats, and 1 big U-Haul will be full of our equipment, and we'll stage them at the venue till we can get in there on Tuesday. And Tuesday, when we can get in there, we'll start unloading them and setting up 36 mats, which 24 of them are coming on 2 tractor trailers from New Jersey. So they'll get here Tuesday afternoon. So we got 36 mats to get set up.
Okay. So let's take it back to the beginning, right? Because this is the 20th year.
This is all you, Frank.
So Frank, I'm the only survivor right now. Yeah, it's the 20th year.
Yeah. So what was the inspiration? What was the start? You said you started with 20 teams right off the rip, but kind of what was the initial spark, or what was the start behind the tournament?
Well, the Virginia Challenge is really 21 years old. Virginia, the Holiday Duals is 20 years old. Okay. And what happened is I was at the time, we had a very strong youth group at that time of kids. I mean, they were just really good. And so we thought, well, what can we do to get the whole state better on the high school level? And the answer was not the high school kids. It was the elite junior high school and under group. And it was a phenomenal group. And from that 8th grade, 6th grade, and 5th grade group that came to the original Holiday Duals, most of those guys went on to get D1 scholarships, All-Americans. Bubba Jenkins, the national champion, was all in this one group. And we went to Ohio to a tournament actually just like what we do here now. And I came home and said, well, we could do that. And not only could we do it, we can do it better. Mm-hmm. And my friends hadn't gotten rid of me yet. And so they said, if you get the teams, because I said, I'm good at doing some things, but I'm not good at doing mostly anything. And then they go, we know, but if you get the teams, we got your back. And that's exactly what happened. And here we are with Corey. Everyone on our board brings their own, which is cool, their own special thing that they do with them. And none of us really do anything that anybody else does, And because of that, we are a really efficient, professional, I say that loosely, professional group that we know how to do it. This guy, he was sitting right next to me. He's phenomenal at the I-64 tournament that he does. And Jack Harcourt, vice president, is just retired as the executive director of USA Wrestling, here. And I'm looking at our list, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members of our board, either former or current, are in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. So we, Virginia chapter, and so we have a good mindset to do things, and it's been working for 20 years. So it all happened. Well, we took that group of kids to Chicago that ended up doing extremely well down the road, winning high school state championships, doing all over the place, Penn State, Michigan, all over the place. And we did something for them, and here we are, the 20th year is still the product that we did for them 20 years ago.
That's wild. That it kind of brings back some memories to where I went to school. My dad and uncle and some other guys did the same thing here in Ohio. It was a group of kids, and there was no going from youth to high school. There's no middle ground, and that's when they started the Ohio, state tournament, junior high state tournament here, and it's 20 odd years later, it's grown into something that's they never thought it'd be. So did you think 20 years ago it'd be where it's at now?
I had no idea. We're so busy trying to talk people into this is the greatest thing since cream cheese. Give it a try. And those early days, the coach, one of the big things that happened was the Pennsylvania group. There was no, and it's a very well-known name now, but Team PA. You think that would be anybody would make up that? No, there wasn't no Team PA. It was a club of a few guys, and they came in, and somebody from, oddly enough, Virginia, one of the dads from Virginia was putting a team together, which is very common now, basically an all-star team. And he had a bunch of kids from Pennsylvania on the Virginia, it was called Virginia Power. We were, the joke was, those Pennsylvania guys are pretty darn good from Virginia.
Right.
And most of the team was from Pennsylvania. And so they, about 2 years after that, their coach came down from the club and approached this. He says, "Hey, what's it take to get in this?" I go, "Well, who are you?" He goes, "Well, those guys on that Virginia team over there, 7 of them are in my club."
Oh, wow.
I go, "Well, I can solve this really quickly." And I waved my hand and said, "You are in. What's your name?" I go, "What do you think?" Team PA, why not? And that was Bill Leopold that started that. And they had wars. We had wars. We're talking about Kyle Snyder was in those battles, and all those guys that Spencer Lee came through that group. Zan Rutherford, a 3-time national champion. They were all in that early group that came out of Bill Leopold's group and some other places in Pennsylvania.
Wow. You kind of mentioned, some of the key cast, the key team you have. Who are some of the guys that make the tournament work? And you mentioned a few off air, but who are some of the guys that, year in, year out, hold a special part of the tournament that they do?
You mean from out of state teams?
Yeah, no, from your staff for the tournament. What are some of the things, you've been involved for a while, but you mentioned Mike.
We'll just start with the president, Mike Cason. He's a head referee in the state of Virginia. He's a member of the head rule interpreter. The head rule interpreters, and he and Corey get the refs, and the refs. When you're dealing with this high of a level, and that's, if anything, it's understated. That's how talented what we have is. You better have the guys that know what they're doing, because in the early years, the refs were amazed at how those little guys that are like in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade are wrestling if they were in big bodies like elite world-class wrestlers. And we're seeing them when they're little guys. So we had to match that. And the first way to match it was for the referees, and Corey and everybody before him has done a great job of it. Not only is it a great job, you can help better this. Tell them where some of the states these guys are from.
A lot of Virginia, not a lot of Virginia, North Carolina. Get a bunch of Jersey guys, some guys from Colorado. You have guys coming from Utah, Minnesota, Ohio, Georgia, South Carolina. I mean, it's a good group of guys represented from different states.
And you know how wrestling people are. We're all just in an extended family. So
Right.
even if you're seeing them for the first time, it's your old friend from a previous life. And that's exactly what's happened with what Corey said about these referees.
Right.
Big part of it was
Yeah.
the respect for the referees. And then we got me, and my thing's always been to establish a relationship, and I try to go beyond customer service. Corey is very good with customer service, and these are our friends. And so we just don't put a flyer out and say, do you want to be in the Holiday Duals? We establish a relationship with these guys, coaches, and they lasted 10, 15, 20 years until their kids move on to wherever they move on to, but we still hear from them. So now I'm talking about Lucy. Lucy's our program lady.
Right.
She is the queen, and we almost lost her a few months ago. I didn't mean lose her by she went away. I'm talking about when she almost passed away. But she had a transplant, right? Yeah, I think it was a transplant, and it was tough, but she's pretty much recovered. And one of the things we've had from day one is a program, and Lucy's the one that has done a phenomenal program, and people save them. And the funny word about it, this actually came out of New Jersey, was this called the bathroom book. And I go, okay, what's the bathroom book? And they go, well, I've got 3 of them from 3 different years in my bathroom, and I still haven't read all of it. And I keep reading it. And then I've heard other people were talking about the bathroom book. So the program has made a headline, and she is in the Hall of Fame because of her work with the Virginia Duals program, which is phenomenal, and the work with ours as well. And that's what Lucy does. Jack, he keeps us all running. He's good at figuring stuff out, and of course with Flow Wrestling and all the stuff that the New Age coverage.
Right.
Those guys, I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't want any. I'm good at talking with them, but I'm not good at knowing it.
Right.
I can't even keep score. If we had a match, he busts my butt all the time about that. Corey does, but I can't. I'm not interested. Too old.
So Corey, how long have you been involved, and kind of what's your role? Has it been the same throughout, or has it changed?
I don't know how many years I've been involved with Virginia Challenge. I don't know, 8 maybe.
No, more like 12.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I've been officiating for 30 plus years in Pennsylvania and now Virginia.
He stuck out like a plum because he knew what he was doing. So when he'd be referee, who's that guy? It's a new guy. We got a new referee. He even knows what a reversal is. That's great. So he's been around, and he's been a very good referee.
And
I help with the referees. I take care of all the awards, making sure all the awards are, ordered and designed, and just different things. Set up and tear down, obviously. We all help with that, tournaments.
He's also a good, I'm going to add some, he's also he's a gadget guru guy. If something goes wrong with the internet or something like that, him,
John's
IT.
John, well, we've gotten so, I don't know how we've sent our people to different states to learn the track system and learn how to do that. So much so they can teach anybody.
Right,
They're that efficient at it. And we learned early that we're going to do this, and we have a warehouse with lots of thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment that we've gradually added over the course of 20 years. So we got all the good stuff. We do.
And Corey, you run the I-64 tournament as well, right?
Yeah, that's I've been doing that for probably 11 years now. Started out as an individual tournament in a high school with 80 kids, and today we have added duels for the past 7-8 years, and we're up to 50 dual teams and 500-600 kids in the individual tournament. So
oh wow,
it's really grown into a nice event, and it's grown to the point where
He's
I'm
turning
comfortable.
people away. That's
Yeah.
where it's at. That's where it's at. You didn't
Yeah.
get in.
And that's in March or when's that?
Actually, it's normally Columbus Day weekend. Last year with the pandemic, I had to cancel it, and then I had it in March. And the March tournament did so well that now it's going to be in October and March. I'm going to have 2 of them a year.
Okay, so that's the
Bring in a-
I-64
Yeah.
October and March. Okay. And Frank was we were talking about that. Frank says what in the semis you kind of cross over. Is that kind of how the setup is, or
Basically, what I do is I call it a Final Four, and Frank, you got to turn that off.
It's a Virginia Challenge phone call. It's from Omar from New Jersey. Hey, Omar, I'm on a Zoom meeting. I'll call you back, okay?
Turn your phone off, please.
I will.
You just interrupted that whole segment.
I'm sorry.
you're good, man. You're good.
No.
So the Final Four.
Yeah, I call it the Final Four. And what I do is I had brackets created on track wrestling through the people at track, where I wrestle out to what would be the finals and then what would be the 3rd and 4th place consolation match. And at that point, I have my Final Four, and I re-bracket those 4 kids into a 4-man bracket and wrestle it out. So, you know, every year there's, 7, 8 people that win the tournament that lost a match. And every year there's 6, 7 guys that beat a guy that beat them previously. But as long as you wrestle back to that 3rd and 4th place bout, you're back in the tournament to win it.
Oh, so if you win in the semis and you win in the Consi semis, then you're re-bracketed.
Yeah.
The 4-man bracket. Do you kind of, if they already wrestled, do you kind of pair them up opposite in that?
Basically, I do what the 2 kids that are in the finals, I make them the 1 and 2 seed.
Gotcha.
And,
okay.
And then, through the crossovers, normally the guys cross over. I mean, there's chances that 3 out of the 4 guys in the Final Four came from the same side of the bracket. Yeah. So, I mean, that has happened too. It's weird. They're like, we're wrestling the same kid in the semis of the Final Four. And I'm like, that's because 3 out of the 4 kids in that Final Four bracket came from the same side.
So they have to wrestle. Yeah.
So,
well,
it's unique. People like it.
It's really caught on.
Yeah.
And the thing that's also really cool about it is his trophies that he gives is I do the awards for him, and they're so heavy because they have marble, not fake marble, real marble, not in the head kind of marble. That is, and they're so big that when I give the awards, I look for the parent, and so we give it to the parent because they're big and they're real big and heavy. So that's really a touch of class that goes along with this event. That's
awesome. No, it sounds like it. If you're having a tournament, you got to add another one, and you got to change the time of year. And it sounds like a unique concept. I'm sure it creates some excitement, coming back for some revenge and.
And then we have, Virginia Challenge does several other tournaments within the state, besides just the holiday duels. We try to take care of our Virginia kids and have an elementary and middle school state tournament. And then we have a freshman for the high school kids. In March, we have a super states weekend, which on one day it's freshman states, sophomore states, and junior states. So each class has their own state tournament.
Strong.
And then on Sunday, we do what we call super states, and that's any age group can enter that.
Oh, cool.
And 9th through 12th grade.
In Virginia, there are
7, really.
Yeah, he's right.
With the privates, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, the private is number 7, and there's 6. There's 6A, 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A. Which Sunday's 1A, And
it just blows my mind, right? I mean,
that means if all of the state champions, one of them wouldn't place at all in the tournament.
Right.
He's state champ, but you can't place if we put everybody together.
How long has it been like that?
Gee, not that long.
5, no longer now.
No longer than
5, 6 years,
yeah,
I'd say.
Something like that.
Up here in Ohio, they're almost doing the same thing with football. I mean, now they had 7 football divisions on, but they doubled the state playoffs. So some of, I think D1 this year, the big schools, everybody got in the playoffs. I guess it's not as bad as having 7 wrestling divisions, but that's just wild to me. You know, people say there's 3 in Ohio are too many, but yeah, that's just wild.
When we do our super states, the thing that the people we don't see as much and the people we do see a lot of, a lot of the state champions won't wrestle.
Right.
It's like they take their ball and go home.
Yeah, right.
But and the people that we see a lot of is thirds and seconds because they're, I don't know if I can say this.
Right. They want to get back.
They're very peed off, about the situation, and they're going there for revenge. So as a result, it's a very extremely competitive event.
Well, they have nothing to lose, right? The champs, they're 1 of 7. They think they proved something, but if you're 1 of 7, it's a little different. So what's the, you're 20, right? You're probably already planning in a way, right? Obviously you're planning for next weekend, but what's it looking like for 2022, 2023? What are some of the things you guys are looking forward to, or, kind of on the horizon? Is there anything you can, talk about what you guys are looking for down the road?
Well, we have a new building that we're in, and we aren't particularly tickled about the new building. We kind of like where we were, which is across the street, and it's actually bigger than the new building. New buildings in 2 halves. One half it's got where they do basketball and stuff, and of course you do wrestling in there. And the other half of the new building is a track and field thing, which is really huge. And but with the parking of the trucks and all that stuff, so we're looking at next year to be same thing in terms. This is just a proposal. I'm not saying that.
Right. No. Yeah. Things don't always. Yeah.
This is what we are discussing: is stay with 36 and 36. The value of that is it is smaller than we've had 120 teams, but and that was a really good year. When we did that division thing, when we had one division that some people didn't work, we had a couple of buys that were at the last second. That didn't make it as smooth as this, but having 36 and it is good this year.
72.
Yeah, 72 overall. That's still a good match. And then if we go back to the other, and then we've got room for 4 more mats. And those 4 matches, we're really, really, really trying to have the girls division, and it would start with 8 teams, and they would get 9 matches or something like that, right? Something like that. They'd get 9 matches, but they'd be in the field, and once the doors open, it gets bigger. And with the Holiday Duals, why the growth and how did it happen and why it keep going? It's not so much the teams that get in, it's the kids that don't get in. And they are first ones in line. I mean, they start want to send deposits 2 or 3 days after the event's over. And those are a lot of times it's the teams that aren't in it at all, or teams that are from around the country that didn't make it. So it all seems to be flowing. So the future is probably stay the same with the 36, which works, and then go ahead and make a conscious effort to work with the movers and shakers and girls wrestling across the country. And first thing that has to be done is we have to find out what weights work. So It could kind of be an overlap. It could kind of be a high school all the way down to junior high school, or junior high school down to elementary school as a hybrid team. I think you guys call it something like that. But you gotta start it to get somewhere, and that's our hopes to be for 22.
You mentioned you had some sponsors or some partners. Who are some of the partners or sponsors you guys work with at the tournament?
Well, our piggies, Martin Screen Prints, has been with us for 20 years, and we just got a really good 3-year extension contract with them, which is flattering. It's very, very strong and very covering. With they help us with apparel, they help us financially, and it's very strong. And also Defense Soap. They're all over the world right now.
Oh yeah, right, Guy. I just talked to Guy today, actually.
Guy.
Oh yeah, I just talked to him today.
Your state, he's your guy.
Oh, he's 15 minutes down the road from me.
Well, you can
Yeah.
tell him to talk, and he's wonderful, and we called him, and he increased his sponsorship this year with us, and so we very much want to toot their horn. Those are our two majors right there, with Martin Screen Prints and Defense Soap, and with we're gonna get into this shortly, but with the Flow Wrestling this year, where they do the streaming, but we're going to have commentators do all of the gold pool matches from the first match to the last. That'll be on Sunday. All placement tournament matches are Sunday. I mean, excuse me, Saturday. Friday, everybody's in their pool,
Right.
and you might have whatever you're in your pool, and then you advance to your tournament. So your real tournament's really on Saturday, and there's a gold pool. So there you go to. I do that. I think I do that in softball a lot. But you would go to you get sent to where you're supposed to go. Where you're
The
supposed to go.
prelim, and then you kind of day one you figure out what day two looks like, right?
Exactly right.
So you mentioned all the gold pool matches will be commentated. So you've got some commentators coming in, and it's going to be live on Flow Wrestling, right?
Right, it'll be, yeah. And the commentators, before I agreed to it, I asked Flo because we saw that we hosted the state championships. Virginia Challenge ran the state championships. Was it three of them? Yeah, three divisions. We ran them here in Virginia Beach, and we basically did everything. We all of our Virginia Challenge equipment, which we're glad we did that. That's a good thing. It helps our exposure, and I think it helped our events numbers last year. But with that in mind, we saw the commentator package at the state championships last year, and Bill Swink brought four guys, and there were four mats, and they were live. So I remembered that, and in our discussions with Flo this year, I said, well, I want the commentator package. What's that? I go, I don't know what it is. You guys had a microphone, you stuck it in, you guys are talking. We want to do that. I says, how many do you want to do? I go, I want to do all the gold pool. Well, how many mats is that? And it's only 6 teams in the gold pool. He goes, we can do that, but you're going to need commentators. I got that. In the Holiday Duals from day one for 20 years, we think we were one of the first ones to ever do it. We had the teams bring each one a table worker. It started with us. And the table workers would keep score. So I tackled it with the commentators the same way. And we targeted 12 teams that we thought are really, really good. In fact, we don't think it. We know. We've seen the lineups. They're off the hook. That's 12. But only 6 of them are going to make it to the gold pool.
Right.
So we called the 12 and said, if we go live, do you have a parent that could be a commentator? But you don't just need one. You might need 4, because those are 5 matches, and every match you could take turns, you could do whatever. And we don't want anybody to be a commentator if their child is wrestling. It's not fair to anybody.
Right.
Who knows what they're going to say? You
Right.
know?
So, I had to do that once for my brother.
Right, exactly.
Was,
so everybody 100% said, let's do it. This will be fun. He goes, yeah. And people have been, they got 4 and 5 commentators lined up. I has been fortunate enough to be broadcasting wrestling stuff for about 20 years. So I can I like to get some of our local people to do it, and I think I can, but we can give them enough information that these are the things you got to do, what you got to say. You don't step on, you don't talk profanity. If it's a referee, you don't say anything about the referee, or that was a close call.
right.
Say that, or ooh, you'll be hearing about this. You can't.
Yeah, it's harder than people think, right? It's
Well,
but
and
if
I
you
think
play them an
we're-
outline, it helps, right? If you give them an outline and the data points, but yeah, it's easier than people think, or harder than people think, right?
We'll find out. They told us we're the first group ever to do this. It's never been done before, and that excited me even more to be the people that Because if it comes off, it will come off and it will be okay. I think you're going to see a lot of the big tournaments try to follow the same business plan on that.
Right. I remember Kent State hosted Ohio State, probably close to 10 years ago. My brother, I was on the call because Kent was hosting, but my brother had to wrestle Logan Stieber, and I said, I'll announce the duel, but I'm not going to sit with a microphone in front of my face when my brother's wrestling Logan Stieber, because I know how that's going to go, right? So Corey, you have anything else for us? What's that?
I said you got to bite your lip when that happens.
Yeah,
I had to do it with my son in the state championships, and I had to be quiet. I mean, actually left and let somebody else do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're in a spot you can't really win, right? You say something and you're right. Your son might get upset with you, and it's there forever, right?
Yeah.
So 72 teams this year. Anything else about this upcoming year you guys want to talk about, or Corey, anything else you have, you want to share?
I think Frank's pretty much covered.
Well, I thought of something, and this is a tribute to everybody. Is we do I'm going to go back to the referees on this, because I really think a way to a referee's heart is through his stomach, and and we do that. We've been for the last 2 years. You know where I'm going with this, right? He's laughing at me.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, we have a really, really, really nice social for the referees
And our staff.
And we invited a few of the guys in the past, coaches that Bill Leopold, the starter of Team PA, and Rich Roberts, I think, is coming from Michigan. Those are our two special guests. That wrestled, brought teams for years and years and years, so they're going to be there. And we treat the referees really nice, and I think that's also a help a good ploy to maintaining them.
Right, 100%.
We treat them right, and we put them up, and they're all at the oceanfront. They're not like other events might be miles and miles away. No, they're right there. They can be at the facility in minutes. So the reception is good, and we're looking forward to a really nice one this year as well.
So do you do that on Friday night then, the social?
Friday nights, yeah. It's after wrestling on Friday night. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, we do something similar at our state tournaments because it usually falls NCAA weekend. So obviously you got all our staff and all the officials missing out on the NCAA. So, we usually do like a watch party with all the key staff and, do a dinner and, put it up on the big screen, watching the NCAA. So it makes it a little easier for those guys that can't make it. So, I guess for those wanting to tune in and watch, the gold pool commentating, or I'm assuming all the matches will be on Flow, right?
Yeah.
But the gold match will be
commentated. Yep. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, but where can they, what do they plug in to find it? Just go to Flow, obviously, but any other information, you just type in, was it virginiachallenge.org? Is that where they can find, more info on the event?
Yeah, it's virginiachallenge.org or Virginia Challenge Wrestling. That takes you to our website, and the schedule is up there. And we have a really good program, and we're going to try to make it that open that up to after the tournament's over. If we have any leftover programs, if people want to purchase them, we'll try to make that happen. But going to our website, virginiachallenge.org, just don't go to the website once. Come back and visit us regularly, because we have things that out-of-state wrestlers can also come to. We're mostly for Virginia events, but the Holiday Duals is a year-round process. None of us ever stop. We always talk about it. I know I deal with it all year long, and it takes a year to get those teams, and you got to hang on to them once you get them.
Right.
Another story.
Well, I just want to thank you for your guys' time tonight. Looking forward to the tournament, obviously, and you guys keep in touch. And thank you for your time, Corey. Very nice to meet you.
Wait a minute. There's one thing though we haven't done, and that is we haven't asked you, as the coach that is bringing an Ohio team to the Holiday Duals.
Right.
How do you prepare yourself for the kids, particularly ones that have never come before. They're going to have the shock of their life when they show up. How do you get those guys ready, Coach?
Right. Yeah, we got Team Ohio, the 8th grade and the 6th grade team coming. And I know that we're looking forward to it. You know, we've been to a few tournaments already this year, so the team's starting to gel together. Unfortunately, I won't be at this event. You know, I coach at the high school level, and I'll be tied up that weekend. But you know, I've been behind the scenes helping with Team Ohio this year, so I'm bummed. You know, hopefully next year I can be there. But you know, the kids are walking away from the previous tournaments. You know, letting them know what they need to work on, and you know, it's just. I'm glad we're bringing a team or 2 teams, I should say.
Well, good.
Yeah, glad you're coming.
Yeah, Ohio's been coming for quite a long way.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Ohio kids coming. I know that. So
Yeah.
on various teams. So no, looking forward to it. So, you know, like I said, maybe next year, you know, we got some quality coaches, you know, on both staffs, for both teams. And, I know they're looking forward to it. So thanks for having us. So.
We want to thank you for having us.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys. You guys have a good evening, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.